Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Spurley, and today I have some Battlefield Bad Company 2, so that's pretty old school. But I just started playing it again just the other day on PC, having a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than I remember. I did get into it on the PlayStation 3 for a while, but now I'm getting back into it again on the PC. It's a lot of fun. But anyway, that's not really the point of this commentary. So I was just watching Dazed and Confused, which happens to be in my favorite movie list. For sure that movie is up in there. It's just really enjoyable, great movie. And also one of those movies that's on my top movies. Not it's not like a not top movie. It's not like a great movie or anything like that, cinematically speaking, or anything like that. But in terms of just like good iconic movies of my time, Dazed and Confused is not really of my time. It's a little bit too early for me. Missed it by a couple years, but it's still like one of my favorite movies. But anyway, Project X is another movie that is one of my favorites. But the problem with both of these movies is none of this is at all realistic. There's high school parties, the expectation, and high school parties reality. And there's a big difference between the expectation of what a high school party is and what the reality of a high school party actually is. In high school, before I started going to parties, when you'd hear all these stories about all these different parties, they all sounded amazing. At least the ones that you hear about always do. Yeah, they just sounded like the most amazing thing like in the world. Like, my whole life will be changed, if I can go to one of these high school parties, like when you're a freshman, when you hear all these things before you know what they're actually like. And so then when when you find out what the high school party is actually like, it's really nothing all that special. Yeah, it's really no big deal, and they're all kind of lame. It's usually mostly a bunch of dudes that have had like less than 6 beers and are just the most horny things in the world. And so a lot of times high school parties are really just cringeworthy moments. Drunken cringeworthy moments for sure. But there's this expectation that high school parties are like amazing, and that's just simply not true. And it's the weird thing about it though is every high schooler knows it's not true. But every high schooler still has hope, and every high schooler still sees examples of these unrealistic expectation parties that they all think are going to happen to them, and it never does. Never, never once is there ever been a real like Project X style high school party. Well, okay, let me take that back. There is an exception to that rule. Yeah, of course. Yeah, there probably have been the original Project X. If you guys have done some movie research, who the movie, like, the story was kind of based off of, loosely, very loosely, not even credit-worthy, based off of, so to say. There was that party, but there's really not a whole lot going on high school parties. Like I said, it's just drunk, horny high school guys with those high school girl sluts that are just really cringeworthy now when you look back at it. Look back at it. But at the time, this is like when you're a high school guy at these parties looking at these girls, it's like, this is everything I've ever wanted. But now when you look back on it, especially now that I'm no longer in high school, you look back on it and it's just this cringeworthy moment that what a high school party really was. It's just one big, I mean, at least for me, I don't know, maybe you have loved every single party you went to, but for me, whenever I think back on parties from high school, I just cringe. And I think that should be the natural reaction because they're so bad. But anyway, Dazed and Confused, though, the one thing that it's out of the two, Project X and Dazed and Confused, Dazed and Confused is much closer to the truth of what happens. But it's never, if you want to tell a story, always make it the most of. Don't just have it. Don't do the bare minimum, or necessarily even what happened. If you're telling a story for entertainment, always make it the most of. That's really what captures your audience. Like if you're sitting around a table, you always embellish a little bit. Everybody naturally does this with their stories when you look back at it, especially if there's parts, in the middle that, didn't fully develop till the end. A lot of people embellish, what really happens in stories. And so just kind of, if you're going to do that, do it the best of, if that makes sense. But, yeah, what's really accurate in that movie is all the driving around. That's really what, if you want, maybe you're older or something like that, or maybe you're curious, maybe you're in high school and you're wondering, if this is what everybody does. This is what everybody does. Yeah, like I said, there are some parties. None of them are really worth going to. They seem like at the moment that they are, but none of them are at all worth going to. But in reality, what really is high school weekends, what you're going to be doing, is driving around in your friends' cars. And it just kind of depends on the people you hang out with and, the kind of person you are, what you really like to do. But, there's going to be people that just drive around sober, just kind of looking for things to do. There's going to be people that drive around either, with a DD and everyone's drunk in the car, except for the DD, or, sometimes, let's be honest, we've all known people in high school that drink and drive, and so, which is incredibly dumb. It's even more dumb than drinking and driving regularly. They're both incredibly stupid things to do, but drinking and driving when you're in high school is a ton worse because you're gonna, anyway, that's not the point of this video. But yeah, or like maybe you're driving around, you and your friends are token or whatever, just smoking some weed in someone's car. But that's really what high school weekends and parties are. It's really just driving around in someone's car, or you driving around with a bunch of your friends, just driving all over town. That's really what high school weekends and parties really are. And no one really talks about that. Of course, it's mentioned, but like no one really talks about it. Everyone always tells, the story about their high school that's, amazing, like amazing party or whatever, like only the amazing, like I said, like the best of. No one ever really does, is telling time after time, the shitty party stories. But anyway, I just kind of I just kind of wanted to talk about that since I just recently watched Dazed and Confused. And so it's just kind of something that's on my mind. Thought it would make a good video. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Also remember to subscribe. It is free, and I'll see you guys later.